Hey over there, Joe Lunchbox.
Joy Nightingale.
And today we have landed right here in Queens, New York. Actually, if you want to get a little more technical, we're on Bell Boulevard in Bayside. Because today we have story time with Joe and Joy, actually. We're going to tell you the story of when my mom played 7 Minutes in Heaven with adult film star Ron Jeremy. There's a lot more to the story than just that, but that is the story. Hope you like hearing some interesting stories. And if you do, you should like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, and all that groovy stuff. We always appreciate it. And much love about if you do. But it's time. Step right up. Let's go for this ride. So this is an interesting one, but you might be wondering why we are standing here on Bell Boulevard in Queens to tell the story. Well, a few doors down we're gonna walk is where Ron Jeremy, whose real name is Ron Hyatt, middle name Jeremy, that's why he used that as his adult film name, was raised. Now, my mom, this story takes place before the Ron Jeremy that you all know. And if you don't know who Ron Jeremy is, he is one of the most famous or infamous adult film male actors of all time. I also like him in other stuff, like a bunch of B movies that Troma made. He was in Boondock Saints. Like, he's in some good movies. Now, I knew, let's walk and talk. I knew Ron Jeremy grew up in Queens, and as a young man, I was interested in learning more about him, so I got this book. I used to take my mom to the doctor afterwards. We'd go to a Barnes & Nobles. Haha, funny, Joy. You're wearing the book. We'd go to a Barnes & Nobles. After the doctor, we'd go to the Barnes & Nobles, and we picked up this book one day. Now, I knew Ron Jeremy was from this area, but I didn't know exact age and stuff. I realized his birthday is March 12th, 1953, and I was like, wait, that's 2 days off from my mom's birthday. And I'm like, they both grew up probably about 3 miles away from each other in Queens. And with being only 3 miles away, I'm like, only 2 days apart in age, they're around the same age. Did they know each other? And my mom went to Jamaica High School, and she's like, I never met this guy. Never, never, never. And I was like, you sure, Mom? She's like, yeah, I don't know this man. So I'm looking through the book, and I find this photo when he's young. And right then, my mom says, oh my God, that's not Ron Jeremy, that's little Ronnie Hyatt. So obviously, my mom knew who that man was. There's more to that photo, and we're gonna get to that in a few, but we're actually gonna head home and have my mom share some of the story with you. We got some photo albums to look through. But like I said, we wanted to start here at 6124 on Bell Boulevard because we were curious where Ron Jeremy was from. And there's this article in the New York Post from a few years ago, and it talks how Ron Jeremy was trying to save a tree his father planted. You can see the tree wasn't saved here, by chaining himself to the tree. It didn't work. Con Ed took down the tree. But that gave us the address, and I was like, wow, so close. I knew it was Queens. Book doesn't obviously give the exact address, but he tweeted, come out, save the tree. It happens.
I think I tried.
All right, we made it home from Queens. We're back from Mom. So, like we already said before, me and Mom went to a bookstore. We got Ron Jeremy's the hardest working man in showbiz. We were looking through, and I was like, Mom, do you know this guy? And at first she said, no, she doesn't know The Rise of the Hedgehog. But we started looking through the books, and things were very unusual. Like, they didn't go to the same high school. My mom went to Jamaica High. Ron Jeremy went to Cardozo. But he did go to college, like, across the street from where my grandma used to live. And I was like, he went to Queens College. He majored in theater and minored in education. Mom, you had to cross paths. No. I'm showing her photos. trying to find an appropriate photo. There's a lot of inappropriate photos in this book.
Tell me about it.
Here we go. So I'm showing her photos of Ron Jeremy. Do you know this guy? Do you know this guy? And from what he looked like in his career, she didn't recognize him. No clue who this man is. And then, as we're flipping through, we come across the photo that I showed you right here, in the corner. Here is a young Ron Jeremy, 4 years Ron Jeremy, as Ron Hyatt. And I showed Mom the photo, and Mom, what did you say when you saw this photo?
I said, my goodness, that photo was taken in your Nana's basement. That's not Ron Jeremy, that's Ronnie Hyatt. And he dated my best girlfriend. And that was at my Sweet 16 party back when I believe 69. And coincidence, huh? And that's my best girlfriend, and that was like the first time I met Ron Jeremy, and she brought him to my house. So, because it was Sweet 16 party back then, you know, we had them in the house, and she brought him because she had just started dating him, and I met him, and he was a very nice young man. She met him at a Jewish Center dance, and that's how he came into our circle of friends, even though we went to different high schools.
What was interesting is when Mom first saw the photo, she went, "Oh my God, that's little Ronnie Hyatt.
Yeah.
In fact, that's my best friend. Joe, that's your grandma's basement. It's my Sweet 16. I even took that photo."
Yes.
Right when she said that, she ran away. And instead of her running away, I'm gonna run away and I'll be right back.
Well, Ronnie was a really nice guy. In fact, I was upset when my friend broke up with him.
And she comes back with her photo album with photos from her Sweet 16. And in that photo album, we have this photo of my mom's friend, Ron Jeremy, my mom, and a friend that Ron Jeremy brought to the party. Now, in the book, there's that photo of him and my mom's friend. And he wanted that photo, he told my mom. So in this photo of my mom, Ron, his friend, and her friend, we actually see that photo in his hand, the Polaroid that she took at her party that he left with, and then he published it in his autobiography. There's the photo.
Yeah, it was quite a memorable party, too.
It's so memorable that we're going to get to the story. The reason you clicked this video, my mom at that party played 7 Minutes in Heaven with Ron Jeremy. But it didn't go the way you think. She didn't go into the closet with Ron Jeremy.
No, I ended up going in the closet with his obnoxious friend, who was not too much of a gentleman, and like his butt was kicked out of the little room that we went into to spend 7 minutes in heaven. But I guess you're supposed to go in there and make out. This guy was not nice. Ronnie, on the other half, he was a really nice guy. My girlfriend said, he's kind of boring. So she went out with this older hippie type guy. This older hippie type guy who's in one of the pictures here, who was a friend of ours. And from what I know, she kind of broke Ronnie's heart from what we heard from circles of friends. Who knows? Maybe.
But did your friend go in the closet with?
She went in the closet with him, and I don't know, and
we don't know what
nothing
happened.
Major happened. In fact, I spoke to her recently, and I said to her, "Do you think things would have been different if you realized who he was going to be in the future? He might have been."
It reminds me of Steve Martin from The Jerk. He had to find his purpose.
Yeah, and back then Ronnie
They didn't know Ron Jeremy's purpose
and he
yet.
didn't know his purpose yet.
He was trying to make it as a real actor later in life, not when he was 16 years old, after college. And his girlfriend at the time sent a photo to Playboy, to Playgirl, to submit of Ron, and that was the lead of him down the path that his life went.
Yes.
But at 16, life was a lot different.
No, he was going to be a I think like a special ed teacher in the New York City schools with a minor in theater.
Major in theater, minor in education.
Okay, whatever it was. I wasn't really good friends with him. We just knew of him from, because we all kind of kept in touch with people and friends and
All right.
other people who knew him. But
So there's the story of how my mom met Ron Jeremy and played 7 Minutes in Heaven with him, even if she didn't go in the closet with him. It wasn't that same game.
yes, it was in the
So
game.
I think we could call it the story of Ron Jeremy. Been there, done that. Remember, folks, safe travels
Good eats.
and live life.
That's just crazy, guys.
So, you stayed to the end of the video. That means you actually earned some extra credit. We appreciate when you make it to the end. Now, this extra credit's more for the ladies. You see, we're here talking about Ron Jeremy, an adult film star that's been with more women than probably most men on this planet. Ladies, you might have a hard time with finding a man faithful, finding a man loyal. We are in Queens. I'm wearing my New York Mets jacket. And that's why, a word of advice, if you're looking for a man faithful, a man loyal, date a Mets fan. The Mets haven't won the World Series since 1986. So if a man could be faithful to the New York Mets, be faithful to you too.